Hello, and welcome to Lesson 2 of Reawaken the Dream, a course for the writer mom. And in our first lesson, we pointed out that you as a writer mom have two challenges in the necessity that you have of writing in tiny fragments. And we said that this course would give you two very practical tools for dealing with that problem. Well, today we start in on building one of those two tools, and that is a note box. A note box is sometimes called a Zettelkasten. I'm not going to use the fancy term, it's just German for note box. It's a very practical tool to solve a very practical problem, how you as a writer can link together the pieces of fractured writing. But today, we're going to actually start building your note box. The note box will have a number of cards in it. I had already indicated that you might want to get a shoebox, something like this, to hold your cards. And I suggested that you get quite a number of cards to start with. I wanted you to get a blue million of these. I think I suggested 500 white cards. If you're a mom, think of diapers. You're going to go through these. These cards, soft, gentle colors that they are going to be like, I guess you could think of them like receiving blankets. These will be a part of what will wrap your baby in comfort. And the third type, we'll see these in a minute. I'm going to save them for a surprise. So we're going to start our work mostly with building out the structure for your note box, the place where you're going to keep your thoughts and ideas. The thoughts and ideas will go on these white cards. These are the important cards. We're going to switch metaphors now, not to a nursery, but to a different kind of baby. We're going to switch to a metaphor of a bird's nest. Here's a cute little bird's nest that I've constructed for you. When the birds go about building their nest, they first build a strong outer layer of the heaviest branches that they need to contain and protect the inner structure of the nest. Then they go with a finer layer of branches, sturdy, but more flexible than the rigid outer ones, and another finer layer and finer layer until the softest, most flexible, thinnest twigs are on the innermost part of the nest. Then the birds do something amazing. They go flying off, and this time they're not looking for twigs. They're looking for something that can give an extra cozy factor to the nest. What will it be? They don't know. What will they find? Maybe they'll find some fur. That would be about the softest thing. Whatever they can find in their environment to carry back to their nest to give a soft layer. And this is what the structure that we're going to be building out. All of this is a permanent structure. The whole part of building the whole nest is just so the eggs will have a comfortable place to be laid, to be incubated, and to grow into baby birds. And so the important part, of course, is the eggs. But we're going to first be looking at how we build the nest to contain them. One of the things we're going to be working towards in our note box is that every single note card will have a number on it. And the rules are very simple. Every card must have a different number. No two cards can have the same number. And the rule is that if somebody throws all of your cards on the floor, mixes them all up, you can gather them together and put them back in the proper order just by reading the numbers on the cards. That's it. There are no other rules. So it's nice, but it doesn't give you much in terms of a guideline for how are you going to go about doing this numbering. So I'm going to go kind of to the other extreme, and I'm going to tell you how I like to number my cards. But I want to be very clear up front that those three rules that I gave you, every card gets a number, no two cards can be the same. You can put it back in order just from the numbers on the cards. That's all that's really in the rules. Everything beyond that is how I like to do it. So I want to be really clear about that. So we're going to be aiming towards these numbers. We're going to look at where they come from, and we're going to look at building a structure that will hold our precious, precious main cards. Because I like to think of my note box as being a nest for important ideas, I like to use a set of directory cards that orient me in the nest, orient me to where I am in the nest. And the card numbers that I use start out with a 4-digit number. This is very common in the world of Zettelkasten, and I have incorporated that in my system. And we're going to take a look at one of the divisions in my card numbering system. This is division 6000, general knowledge. General knowledge is a good place to start because it gives us something that isn't specifically about our course, so that we can do it before we've had the course. As we go through the course, we'll be using other sections to store very important information about the course. But we're just going to use the general knowledge section for now so that I can show you how we break up the divisions into smaller subdivisions and then categories and then subcategories so that we can orient ourselves to where is our information placed in our notebook. So we'll play with this one as an example. And so we have something to work toward. I'm going to use an example where the note cards that we're going to be using are about jellyfish. Yep, jellyfish. We'll see how they fit in. So first of all, this card is an example of a directory card. One of these pastel cards. And what makes a directory card is that it gives you the name of the category that you're working with and shows you how that category is broken down into other cards. So we're going to start at our outermost level is the 6000 number, general knowledge, and we'll see that it can be broken down into several smaller areas like art, literature, drama, social studies, history, science, math, computers, sports, and exercise. Now, don't get worried. You don't have to copy these off the screen. If you are a subscriber to my email list, which you can do in the link below in the description, you will get a PDF to go with every video in the course, absolutely free. There's no charge for the videos. There's no charge for the PDFs. They'll come to you by email, and all of these cards, everything that I'm going to present here today will be written out for you in that lesson. So just watch and don't feel like you have to get out a paper and scramble to write anything down. When it comes to directory cards, I like to create them in pairs. I think I might be the only person on planet Earth who does their notebox with a pair of directory cards. So copy me or not if you like. I like the pair because to me they function like a file folder. I can see the front and the back. I can get an idea of how many cards I've got in the section because they will grow. And it's kind of nice. I like to be able to tell where I've been. And I also like, if I pull out the cards, I can stand one of them up on end. Probably would stand it up this way. And I can see where I've taken the cards out from. And I can match those two numbers when I go to put the cards away. And I know that I'll be putting the cards back where they belong and not in some other random section where they don't belong. So I'm going to let these cards, big numbers, fit 6000, they're going to stand for my front and back directory cards for the biggest area of knowledge, general knowledge, the biggest, fattest twigs that the birds use in that outermost layer of their nest. These will go on the outer rim of the nest. Now, because we're going for jellyfish, the next subdivision that we're going to look at is 6300 science. I suppose you could look up jellyfish in art or literature, but we're going to deal with jellyfish in science. And so science could be broken down into these categories. These are the numbers that I came up with, the subjects of science that I could think of off the top of my head: physics, biology, chemistry, medicine, astronomy, and earth sciences. So we're going to be looking, in particular, we will be honing in on biology. But let's take this 6300 sciences. That's the first subdivision. That's going to be not the fattest twigs, but the next finer ones that form a little bit more inner layer of our nest. We'll have front and back cards again. And we'll let these cards stand for the front and back cards for science. General knowledge, science. Jellyfish again. So amongst the sciences, we're focusing in on biology. Now, how might we break up biology? Microbes, plants, or animals. So this directory tells us what's going to fall under biology. Again, we have our front and back directory cards for biology. Those are our categories. We're getting down to categories now. And these will be our stand-ins for our biology. And then we finally get down to our subcategory, animals, because jellyfish aren't plants and they're not microbes, they're animals. And that is as far as I can go with my system because I'm using 4 digits. It's very common to use 4 digits. So that's the limit of my subcategories, and that's the innermost, finest layer of twigs in the nest. Again, because I like front and back directory cards, I have a pair of them for animals. And we'll let these cards be the stand-in for the animals. So we've used up all of our categories. We've built our nest. All of the twig portions of our nest are built. And now the birds have to go out and find something soft and pleasant, maybe some fur, to make a nice soft area for the inner part of the nest. This we're going to call the topic. Just as the birds cannot know in advance what soft material they're going to find to line the nest, they just have to go out and take whatever they can find. Whatever they can find will be good enough, and that's what they will put in their nest. Likewise, topics. We're declaring a topic jellyfish, and we set it off from our category with a decimal point and an 01. 1, because we're going to take our topics as they come along. Maybe the next one will be dinosaurs, then horses, then dogs. Who knows what order the topics will come in? We'll take them as they come. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just march them up. And that 0.01 sets it off from our category and kind of lets us know that they're just going to keep going up. 1, 2, 3. Probably more than 9, because that's why we put the 01 there. So, and the jellyfish cards, again, I like to make front and back cards for my topics. That's where the neon cards come in. The neon cards are bright, and when you've got your deck of cards, they'll be visible even when you're looking down on your deck from the top. These guys you'll be able to find them, and you'll be able to see where your topic section is. So this is the innermost layer of our nest. And now our last nest has its soft lining, and we're ready for the precious, precious eggs. Well, where do the eggs come from? They're the ideas that we're working with. The pieces of information and our reaction to the information that we have in the world. Main cards are personal. I could make directory cards for you all day. I could declare the topics and divisions, and as long as they were reasonable, you could work with them. But I cannot write main cards for you. I cannot write main cards for you because main cards not only contain an information or idea, but they also include how you react to that. What is your feeling about that? What thoughts does that bring up for you? If you had a main card that didn't include part of you, it would be like having an egg with no yolk. It could never hatch. It's infertile. Main cards are ideas, and ideas are only fertile if they include some of you. So even if the piece of information came from way beyond you, something you never knew, or a source that was given to you, a main card needs to have some of you in it, or it doesn't qualify really as a thought or an idea. So now we need a story. And here's our story. We have a writer mom. If you know the writer moms from our previews, if you're on my email list, you're already well aware of our writer mom. She's our favorite gal who's got your problem of having to write in fragments. Well, one day, her son Toby came home from school all excited about jellyfish. Their class had been on a field trip to the marine aquarium, and he could not get over the jellyfish. He was just beside himself. So while writer mom finished up what she was doing, she gave him one of our note cards, and she flipped it over to the blank side and said, "Toby, will you draw me a jellyfish? And then we'll go look up some information on jellyfish." So she wound up what she was doing. He did the drawing, and they sat down by the computer. And luckily, they found the Marine Conservation Society's Fascinating Facts About Jellyfish page. And Toby got to answer his first question that he wanted to know, which was, what are jellyfish made of? And there, very, very quickly, they learned jellyfish are 95% water. Well, Toby thought that was really amazing. He couldn't get over that. How funny, he said. They live in the water, and they're made mostly of water. How strange is that? So we will take this card, 95% water, and we'll let it be the stand-in for jellyfish are 95% water and Toby's reaction to that. The next thing they learned was that jellyfish do not have brains, hearts, or lungs. They have 3 layers. Just 3 layers. They don't have organs. Well, Toby wanted to know, well, what are the layers? Well, that seems pretty natural. You'd want to know that. So this is our stand-in card. for the 3 layers? Well, the outer layer is called the epidermis. It's kind of like the jellyfish's skin. Oh, Toby thought that was pretty neat because that means that keeps the water outside of the jellyfish separate from the water inside the jellyfish that the jellyfish is made of. So that's what they added to the card for their thought. This card, epidermis, is our stand-in for the outer layer is called the epidermis. Then they learned that the middle layer is a jelly-like substance. Toby thought that was great too. That must be how the jellyfish got its name. Jelly-like is our stand-in for the middle layer. Well, that means one more layer left to talk about. The inner layer is where they digest their food. Whoa, Toby thought that was pretty amazing because that means that if jellyfish want to eat something, they just kind of sort of surround it to eat it. So that's what they put on the main card. Digestive layer. So Toby wanted to know what jellyfish ate, and they found all kinds of information. The little ones eat plankton, and sometimes they eat little fish, and they eat fish eggs, and all of that was very interesting. That seemed pretty normal to Toby, but boy, he was shocked to learn that sometimes big jellyfish even eat other smaller jellyfish. He said, whoa, that means they're like cannibals. So they selected that to include as a main card. Big eat little is my stand-in for that. Then they round up their time at the computer with jellyfish by learning that jellyfish have been around for 500 million years. That's longer than dinosaurs. So Toby wondered, well, why didn't they go extinct? The dinosaurs went extinct. Why didn't they go extinct? But it was getting late. So they decided, well, let's save that for another day. So that was the last card they added to the main box. 500 million is my stand-in for that. Well, now, later in the evening, our writer mom decided it was time to put card numbers on the cards because she wanted to file them away properly. So she thought about, well, what numbers am I going to give these cards? She knew pretty well, just from the directories and such, that she would want to start off, well, where did it go? She would want to start off with the category, 6323 animals, and then she'd want to put the topic, 0.01 jellyfish, but what numbers would she give the individual cards? She looked at her set of cards, she laid them out, and she kind of noticed, well, there's a pretty natural structure going on here. 3 layers, 95% 3 layers. 3 layers, well, the 3 layers. Clearly, the 3 layers are kind of long under the heading. And then what they eat, well, that kind of fits under the digestive layer. So she looks at that and says, oh, well, that's just an outline, isn't it? So she could easily have put outline numbers on this. 1, 95% water. 2, the jellyfish have 3 layers. 2A, the outer layer is the epidermis. 2B, the inner layer is jelly-like. 2C, the innermost layer is the digestive layer. 2C1, big jellyfish eat little jellyfish, and 3. They're 500 million years old. So now she knows immediately from that, she knows exactly how she's going to number her cards. The first card, jellyfish are 95% water, is going to be 6323.01.1. The next card, jellyfish have 3 layers, 6323.01.2. Then the outer layer is the epidermis, 0.2a. Point 2b. Point 2c for the digestive layer. And 2c1 for big jellyfish eat little jellyfish. Then finally that last card, 6323.01.3. So now all of our cards have numbers, and she's able to put them away in the main box where they belong. So this is how we build main cards and note cards, directory cards, and topic cards for our note box. That will be the bulk of the cards that we will create for our note box. Will be, at first it's going to feel like it's all directory cards. Like, where are the main cards? Why am I not using any of these white cards? Well, it's because, the white cards come along later. If we go back to our setting up the nursery example, you might be folding receiving blankets before the baby gets here, but you're going to go through diapers. I promise you. And the main cards will be the bulk of our system. And that's why we're going to want those directories, because we're going to have so many cards in between them that it'll be very nice to know how far does this section go, so we can easily see and extract a portion of the cards when it's time to work with them. So that is all of the content for today's lesson. Our next lesson will also be on Notebox. We're going to learn some additional parts of the Notebox system and some specialty cards that we won't use as often. And then 2 lessons from now, we're going to put it all together, and we're going to talk about how do you actually use the Notebox in day-to-day life. And that will be the end of our unit on setting up the Notebox. Although the Notebox won't go away, it'll be with us all through the main bulk of the course, which is about the character traits. We will be tracking them with our Notebox, and we'll be talking about our writing. We'll be tracking our writing using the Notebox as well. So join me. You do have homework to do. It's not terribly extensive, but you will want to do it, and be sure you get the PDF file. And of course, you can always like and subscribe to my videos so other people can find them. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.